beside me at the wheel.
Shooting the drag in my time in the 50s and 60s in Sydney was one location. Basically, it was on Charlotte Street. It was a one-way street. And you approached it from a number of places in a number of ways. The neat thing about shooting the drag was there was no exclusivity. Everybody was allowed. And some people went to show off. Some people went to have fun. Some people congregated just to meet up with friends from different areas. You walked it, you drove it. You took your time, you stopped along the way, you smelled the roses. Sometimes you'd even drop into one of the restaurants. And in those days, we didn't have pocket money very often, so you might even go to the Diana Sweets and order a lumberjack float, which was a glass of water and a toothpick.
Well, the drag was a place that you went quite often when you were a teenager, and it's a geographic location in downtown Sydney. You would say you were driving down Townsend Street, you would come to the lights of Townsend and George Street, and then you would turn right, you would drive down George Street, and you would go all the way around, and you would come down to Cape Breton Post building is, and you would turn up that street, so you would turn left onto that street. When you turned left, then you came to another set of lights, you would turn right onto Charlotte Street, and you would drive all the way down Charlotte Street. Now Charlotte Street, if it was like say a Friday or a Saturday night, there would be all kinds of people on Charlotte Street, and they would just be hanging out down there. They would be teenagers, they would be from tweens and people that were from 13 and up, right up to maybe 19, and then when people were older, they might have went to the bars and stuff.
It was the thing to do, like when you went to school, right? High school. Got to high school. What are you doing on the weekend? Well, I'm going to shoot the drag, and if you had your father's car, you'd be shooting the drag with your father's car, or say, well, I'm going to a dance here or going to a dance there. Whatever. It was the social thing to do.
So was he shooting the drag when you met him?
Yes. We used to shoot the drag, yeah. You'd meet all kinds of people, sitting around or walking the drag. And you get to show off your car. Anyway, after a while I got to appreciate it. Every time we went anywhere, they were blowing horns at us or waving. Yeah.
I think it was seeing my friends. I think it was that you could go there pretty much any time, any evening. And chances were, if it was on the weekend, you would see some people that you probably knew. And if not, you might meet some new people, because there was always people coming from the different communities like North Sydney, Gleis Bay. But it was also about staying in one place. So what you would do is you might drive around and see someone you know hanging out in a certain place. Like there was a place called the Corrals, where people would sort of gather their cars and they would talk to each other. And there was like 5 or 6 or 7 different places like that.
You went there to congregate, to communicate with one another, to get a sense of yourself, because you benchmarked off of one another. And there was a real fraternization kind of thing with everybody there. That was a big thing. And I remember one event that was significant in my life was when we graduated from high school, we had to shoot the drag with our diplomas waving high, and all the proprietors of the different establishments were clapping. So that was a cool event. We had a convertible 56 Chevy, I think, and one of the cars that I was in, and borrowed from somebody, and it was neat. He got acknowledged.
I'm not quite sure what happened to the drag, but I've thought a little bit about this, and I think maybe it has to do with modern technology, that maybe there was a time when technology came out that people could arrange to meet in different ways through social media or through, instant messaging and cell phones. We didn't have any of that. So if you wanted to go and be where your peers were, or where there was something happening, you went downtown, you went to Main Street, you shot the drag, you drove around in your father's car. and you put $5 worth of gas at the time when I did it. And this went on for generations and generations, in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and I know up into the 90s. I don't know beyond that, but it was a part of cultural life as a teenager, living in Sydney anyway, but I think there was a drag in Glace Bay as well, and I don't know about other communities, but I know Glace Bay because sometimes we'd go shoot the drag in Glace Bay.
But it was a different kind of culture for awareness of one another, and I would like to see that part of it come back for young people. You know, they need to have a better sense of self. You get your sense of self gets delineated by all the technology if you're focused on a cell phone all the time and not being real. You know, and even just the sounds of certain tunes on certain radios and the cars going by, and everybody was allowed to be. And you know, there was always the critique of, you know, look at that one, look at this one, you know, isn't that one different or whatever. But it all translated to you were allowed to be there, and there was no putting you away. And the lights were bright even at night. And you kept incessantly going around the loops.
Riding along in my automobile, my baby beside me at the wheel. I stole a kiss at the turn of a mile, my curiosity running wild, cruising and playing the radio with no particular place to go.